Okay, Val, okay, just to start, let's just do some chokuzuki just to get ourselves into the mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 10 times yourself. How's your mate? Good. Okay, what we're going to work on in my session is we're going to work on how techniques sometimes need to be connected, sometimes no connection, and sometimes the techniques have to be disconnected slightly. And depending on what you're striking and what distance you're at, you might need to think about how you use a connected, disconnected, or technique with no connection. So an example is a jab has nothing, it has no connection at all. But then we might want to connect it by using our hip and hand at the same time, or we might want to create a slingshot effect where we move our back leg, then our hip, then our front hip, and then all of them drive. So we're just going to work on those 3 aspects, and we're going to put that into a drill as we go through. Okay, so first of all, I just want you to punch, and here is nothing. Nothing, and that's quite difficult for a lot of people trying to drive too much. It's just no hip. 10 times, go. Yeah, that's quite challenging, isn't it? You just have to remind yourself your arms can work independently of what your hips and your legs are doing. So now I want you to think about a technique that is connected. So you're striking with your hip and your hand at the same time. So your hand's going to drive, and then your hip's going to move at the end. So hand and then hip. So at the end, your hip is rotating here. Then hand first here. So you can just see that hip is going in. This is like digging a punch in really hard. So hip, hand first, hand and then hip. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. So just watching a few people, what's happening is this hip is, you have a lot of muscle memory from all your years of training, and your hip is only doing one thing, which is it's vibrating, or it's maybe wobbling a bit. So I don't want that. We're going to do that next. So this hip is here, rotating. Like when you do gyakuzuki, you don't wobble your hip and you don't vibrate your hip. I just want this, whether it's to shomen or gyaku hanmi, then just here, just here. If you have inbuilt muscle memory, you need to train to unteach yourself that and know which one to use at which time. So this is about understanding how to use your body effectively. So now, here, see, this is hips turned, and here. So when I come to the point of impact, I'm going in. All right, let's try that, 10 more, go.
Paul Sensei.
Yes?
Is your hand going before your hip?
Oh, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, thank you, good question. Hand has to go first, otherwise the hip will land too early. So this is, the aim of this is to hit someone with your body and your hand at the same time. Let's try. Yeah, there's still a lot of hip wobbles and hip vibration. Yeah, that is an important thing to be able to do to vibrate your hip, but that is not what we're doing now. So you must check this, because there's different aspects. Also, some people, when you're punching, now you're opening, you're losing a sense of pulling down and locking down with your upper body. So your lats aren't working, so this is happening. So this is very loose. So make that point of kime here. Okay, moving on. So that one needs a little bit of work. Now, let's vibrate the hip. So this is disconnected. So we're driving together. So this ends up continuing, and this hip returns to its position. Now, don't mistake this with reverse hip. Reverse hip is always a negative thing to learn. If you try and punch like this, I can't even do it. You can see how it just doesn't make sense. So the hip and hand drive together, and then my hip just returns into its place, so it's ready to go again. So it's hand together and hip, and this goes. So a slingshot effect, and then we're recovering. You can see this within the belt movement. Okay, let's try vibration of that hip now. Okay, 10 times, go. Okay, just one more point about that. Your hip is not meant to continue moving. a hip wobble is not control of your body. Allowing the hip to go and then return to its position, that is control. But there's a lot of wind up and wobble, wind up and wobble. So I think that is a byproduct of seeing people vibrate their hip and then trying it and then maybe not practicing enough. So just work on it a little bit more to the point where you can make that sharper movement. If it's not sharp enough, it's just going to continue to wobble. And we don't want a wobbling movement because that is when our body is out of our control. So just vibrate, vibrate. 10 more, go. Okay, good, everybody. Everyone make Jukamai. I'll move back so you can see my feet, hopefully. Okay, just from here, just from Kamai, in Sensei. And now we're just going to make a Kizamazuki. Can we do Kizamazuki with nothing? Just this. This is a boxer's technique where they're just pawing. Tyson Fury does this really well. He's got arms that are this long and he just paws at people. He's not trying to hurt them or knock them out. He's just annoying them to keep them away, to line up a stronger technique. He doesn't throw his whole weight into techniques that often, which is why he doesn't knock that many people out. He could, he just doesn't always. So this technique, just this, no connection. So this technique is much sharper. You're going to catch people off guard with it. You're not going to hurt them massively, potentially, but let's try that 10 times. Good, good, good. Okay, let's try the other side of the body, just 10 times, go. Now, back to the other side of the body. So hip, hand, drive together, drive together. So it's just the same as we're doing standing up, but now you're doing it with a stance. So we're gonna, obviously from a Kizamazuki perspective, we're pivoting here to create this rotation. Our front leg's going to move because we're driving forward here. So Kizamazuki, and then return, hip, hands together, striking, go, 10 times.
Sensei, do we hold the hand at the end of the technique or do we allow it to relax at the end?
Yeah, allow it to relax. I mean, I would say it depends on, you know, what grade people are as to how proficient they are with making this or maybe having to hold that technique a little bit more. But for yourself, please snap. Okay, try the other side of the body. Hip and hand together, so you're driving in. Right, let's crack on, next one. So have a look at the technique now. So here, 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 and then drive, and then this hit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So this is disconnected from our body. Byproduct of the body movement to then throw that kizami out. Okay, try that 10 times and I'll have a look. Go. Think of that connection throughout your body. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Paul Sensei.
Pause.
On your front knee, when you're doing that wave,
Yeah.
Are you trying to keep it solid and lock forward, or is there a slight movement on the front knee in that direction?
Yeah, I'll explain. So if you're pivoting from this hip, when you're punching Gyakuzuki, this hip has to move forward to drive the weight in like this. But if you're pivoting from Shizen of this hip, which we must do for Kizamazuki, this has to move because it's attached. Yeah, these two are attached, so they have to go. So this leg, to answer your question, Steve Sensei, this knee must move because this 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's just a chain of events that are going along. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Give me a thumbs up. Good. Right, try that again. Good, looking good. Okay, back to the other side of the body. Left leg forward. And then we're just going to do the same with Gyakuzuki. So just a small Gyakuzuki first. Then we'll try the other side. Just a small Gyaku. Just a digging in technique. Nothing. It's close range. Just nothing with your body. To start with, just this. Try to keep this still. Okay, just 10 each side and we'll move on. Now, like we were talking about with Chrissy Sensei, this hip, hand, when does it go? Your hand is going to go. And then the hip. So we're hitting as we drive our hip. Hand and drive. This and return. If you're finding it hard to make this kime and snap really quickly, just slow it down a touch to make sure you finish your technique. I'm seeing a few people making this very flicky action at the end. The technique still must be complete. So if you find that difficult, just slow it down a touch. So now hip, hand, driving together, so the hand has to go first and then the hip goes with it. So you're making contact as the body moves. 10 times, go. Both sides.
Pause and say.
Pause.
Do you have your back foot down when you're driving into Gyaku there? I couldn't quite see your feet, sorry.
Yeah, so for basics, I will be doing that. I will be practicing that, yeah. Absolutely. It really helps create better ankle flexibility. Back to Gyakuzuki. Now, this 1, 2, 3. This is that slingshot, one, leg, hip, and now you're out of time on purpose. This is like when a baseball pitcher gets the ball, they take this big back swing, they reach, they don't push much with their back leg. They've talked very little about back leg drive, but they squeeze this inner thigh and then they throw their hip and they're at massive full extension and then the ball goes. So it's about hip speed. It's what they correlate to that speed of the ball coming out. So this 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So try and break those things up now and just have a slingshot where the punch comes out as a byproduct of all that movement. Try all of those.
Paul Sensei.
Us, Catherine, hello.
Hello. When would you use the different kind of punches?
Yeah, so generally it's about the distance that you're striking from. If you say, for example, we're throwing an uppercut quite a close range, you wouldn't disconnect them. It would just create no power. So you would put a lot of weight into your leg and then drive up. Hip same time, you need to be forcing your weight and your mass upwards at a vast speed. To do that at a vast speed with a lot of mass, you'd have to drive at the same time. If you disconnected them, they'd be really weak. So it's one of the main things that you need to think about is the distance that you're striking from. So if you're striking closer range, maybe like a Kakuzuki, hit the Makiwara like this, I would do this the same time. If I'm going from a longer range, I'll play with striking slightly out of time. But, you know, these are just drills to help our body intelligence as well. So, you know, we shouldn't obsess about how they maybe work in an effective way. Something that I practice as well is a double hit. So 1, 2, 3, and that creates a lot of torque when we're striking. I hit the Makiwara with that and it hits it pretty hard. But is it realistic? Would it work after we're winding up first? Maybe not, because it takes too long to do that. But you know, it does create a hell of a lot of power. So if you create the opportunity with time to maybe throw that harder punch, which is why I wanted to practice all of them, because I think they're all useful for different ranges and for different situations. Everyone kind of give themselves a little bit of space. We're just going to do a step this time. So come to Kamae. The first one we're going to do is we're going to just throw a Kizami with a little bit of hip Kizami here. Pitch. And we're going to hold that punch out. So if we have our left leg forward, and then I punch. Now I'm going to follow that with Oizuki. And when I finish my Oizuki, I'm going to create a little bit of hip rotation. So we can obviously, generally we practice this in Shomen, but I'm going to create a little bit of hip rotation here. Okay, let's come back and try that again. So Kizami, we're going to open the hip. And then Oizuki, we're just going to think about hitting and using this to strike, okay? Let's try that again. So Kizami, Oizuki, go. Just a few times. It's very important to practice Oizuki and Shomen. I've done that for a few years, not all of my training time, but a few years, and I definitely feel the benefit within my flexibility of my hip. So I'm not saying don't do that. This is just a drill where we're practicing like striking with it. So our hip is right turned. So one more time and then we'll stop. Hisamuzuki, Oizuki. Now this hip is slightly turned, so we can drive in. Gyakuzuki. Now our hip is in Shomen, and we're going to vibrate the hip. Chokuzuki, go. And back. So all we're doing, sorry Z, all we're doing is this one, bit of hip created this one, vibration of the hip. So all those different aspects in 4 techniques. So have a go at that a few times, don't go too fast, and then we'll add to it in a sec. Go. Let's just try that. So if you're finding that quite challenging, continue to practice that. If you're more senior grade and you want to push that step a bit further, I want you to do that in a more refined way. So from here, I'll demonstrate this way. This is just here, nothing else. This hand can stay, just strike. Then, oizuki. You can see the hand's not really doing much. Yakuzuki, chokuzuki. So in a more refined way, those people, can you mute them again, please? Tommy Sensei wants me to mute everyone. I will do that. So practice the same drill. Some of you refine that more if that's more suitable for your grade, for your level, shall we say.
Sensei.
Yes.
Hi. Do you use, is the front hip the hinge for the Yaku techniques? Or is the center of your body the pivot point?
For Gyakuzuki?
Yes.
Yeah, for Gyakuzuki, no. It's this hip. Can you, I don't know if you can see me. This hip. Because if you pivot through your center, then this hip comes back and this one goes forward. That means you're trying to punch forward with negative energy fighting against you. Just like people are obsessing about hikite, and then they do this and think this creates stronger technique, which of course it doesn't. When I hit my makiwara, I don't even bother with this. I just hit like this, or maybe this, because I'm just trying to project all of my energy forward. So this hip comes to this. It's like shutting a door. Here. Yeah. Does that help?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So on that advanced second one, are
Yeah.
you using this reaction here as if you're donging in straight away, or are you still bringing the hikite?
No, don't worry about your hikite, Steve. Not for you. You can just fire forward straight after.
Yeah.
It's like making it much more refined. It's like these sort of combinations when the technique can't come all the way back to our hip. We just simply don't have time. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just to fire forward.
Thank you.
Okay, one more time. So just take it in my count. Ich, ni, san, shi. Okay, from where you are, I want you to just compress back. This back foot here does not lift off. You can see it here. Doesn't lift off, you compress back into it. So now compressing back and making Gidambarai. Ich. Using this hip, make a reaction and a Uchuki knee. And then use this hip to pull yourself back up, San. And drive in Shi. Very good. Okay, so we're going to go to here. Here, I should say. Right leg, right hand, just on your chokuzuki with hip vibration. And now we're going to step back, hand block. Ich. Make a reaction, knee. Use this hip and drive back up, San. And drive in Shi. All the time, keeping this from dying away. Drive, rotate your hip, but use the inner thigh, outer thigh muscles there to hold that posture whilst rotating the hip. Okay, let's just try that one more time. So you should be in Shomen after our hip vibration, chokuzuki, hip, and then hip again. Use the hip to drive up, strike down. Try that yourself a few times. I'll have a look. Okay, let's go from the beginning. We're here. We're going to make Kizamazuki, Oizuki, Gyakuzuki, Chokuzuki. Go. Then we're going to go back into the side, make reaction, ich. Make reaction, knee. And a hip vibration, sen. And drive across, shi. Retain this as we're punching across. Maximum energy you can. it's quite hard to rotate your hip from Kiba-dachi. Having the right type of Kiba-dachi is important. You know, people are pushing their knees out really obsessively. As soon as they rotate your hip, you're going to move. So when you sit into that stance, just sit down into the stance. And I found this has really helped me over the last few years in my training to rotate my hips from Kiba-dachi, which is something I didn't do particularly effectively before. So have a think about how you sit into that stance. Yes, question?
Yes, could you maybe just comment on how you relate the flexibility of the hip to the stability of the knees in Kiba-dachi? As you move the hips, how the knees have to stay in place.
Well, you said it. You said it.
I know.
What do you want me to add?
No explanation.
Yeah, well, it's as simply as you said it, Alexander. You have to retain this position. This is your strong position. This is creating a weak position. So, you know, there's some very nice exercises where you can just start. You know, we've done these with Scott Sensei before, where we're rotating and then just driving up and retaining that position. And, you know, we did a bit of this yesterday with Scott Sensei as well. Harry's helping to rotate. So, you know, you must retain your position. In Kiba-dachi, this is our foundation. This is no foundation. So use the thigh, use your muscles here and here. Just like in Zenkistachi, when we're pushing and pulling, and we have to use this muscle and this muscle, squeeze to stay still essentially while we're moving all around it. It's the same feeling, compounded by the fact that we haven't got the ability to release like we have in Zenkatsu. So it's much more challenging. Okay, right, where are we? Come on, left leg. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then to the side, Gidambarai, Uchiuki, Gidambarai, Yakuzuki across the body, holding this. All the way through and go. Don't make it an arm movement that is driving you somewhere. It's a byproduct of how your hips are working, how your legs are driving your hips. Okay, one more time slowly and we'll carry on. Kizamazuki, Oizuki, Yakuzuki, Chokuzuki. Then Gidambarai, Uchiuki, Gidambarai, Chokuzuki. Okay, so now carry on. Left leg is coming back. Ich, Agyuki. Really compressing back on your back leg now. Sotuki, knee. You've got that compression, drive it forward, san. Now, just as an alternative to this, we're going to add 2 more punches. So I'll face this way, you should be able to see. So we've come to here, driving forward. Now I want you to retain this position and just pull without taking so much compression to be right back here, like in Sochin. 1, and then we've got all of this, 2. So the last 2 are 1, 2. Pull, push with those punches. One's fairly static, one's knocking the wall down, okay? So those last 2, 1, 1, 2. So everybody come to here, do punching with your left arm across your body. I'm going to step back with our left leg. Agyuki, ich. And then Sotuki, knee, compress. And drive, son. Stay and drive, shi. Good. One more time. Agyuki, ich. And Sotuki, knee. And drive in, son. Hold the position, shi. Ready to drive and go. So it's this feeling we have in Sochin when we're here. It's here. We can't drive here and then drive here. We haven't got enough room. So we have to pull and then drive on that last one. So 1, 2. Let's go through the beginning and then you can just practice the whole set. Okay, get ready? Ich, ni, san, shi. Go. Rook, sich, hutch, ich, compress knee, san, shi, go. Good. Well done, practice yourself now. Okay, good. Now, senior grades, think about refining it more again. We did it on this first one. You can come to Kamai after. Now on this next one. Gidambarai, Uchiuki. So now you're just forgetting all of your reaction techniques, because at a senior level, you'll be able to fire those techniques without making the opposite motion and opposite reaction. So from here, you don't need this one, here, and then this one. So it's just hip and hand. This one, and then the Agyuki can just come, compress, boom, 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 afterwards. So just try that, the more senior grades, to just refine their technique more, and that will be a lot more challenging for you. Okay, try that, go. You must use your hips now. Keep using your hips to drive your technique, leg through to your hip. If you're just moving, especially in the more refined way of doing it, it's just going to be an arm which is pointless because it has nothing. You can only start to refine your technique if you're ready to make it work with just the hip, and you can connect those two without needing to connect the other arm. Okay, let's just go through it slowly, and I mean take it slow so we can really concentrate on our body mechanics. Okay, so hip and drive itch, then oizuki, got a little bit of hip rotation, san, and sheep. Now let's make this, if we can, nice and relaxed, itch, and then knee. Yeah, don't just do this. If you're doing this, that's okay, make a reaction, it might need to. Knee, pull, san, and this action, here, 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 and up, and sheep. Then we're gonna go back and block, go, compress rook, teach, hachka. Good. Right, one time to my count. Get ready, everyone. Left leg forward. Full speed. Don't cheat. Don't just punch with your arms. Use all of the foundations. Ready? Good. Some of you are very, very fast, but then because it's fast, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's just arm movements. So get this hip working. Hip, hip, compress. Then compress more into the back leg before we drive forward. Every technique, think about what the fundamentals are behind it. One more time. Don't cheat. Don't be fast. Do it correctly. Well done. Good job. Okay, let's go to the other side of the body. This leg forward, right leg forward. So you're just practicing principles. So you should be able to just do this straight away, other side of the body. So let's just try all the way through, full speed, other side of the body. This is where your ego has to kick in. And you say, yeah, I'm going to smash this. So you should be right leg forward right now, and you should be doing it on the other side of the body. So right leg forward, and try to do it full speed. If you make a mistake, that's okay. Just try to your best. Trust your technique. I will do my drill 2 more times. Once right, left side, once right side, once left side, and then we can have something to go away and practice with that. It's not perfect yet, but this drill was meant to test you with all the ways of connection, no connection, disconnection of your technique. So I just thought of it, I put it together a couple of days ago just as a way of challenging you more than through basic one step, one punch type stuff. So it's a bit more like a kata, the way a kata challenges us. So everybody, we're going to do it one more time, right side of the body, one more time, left side. And that's it. So big effort now, ki. Everyone left leg forward. Ready? Ready. Ha! Change legs. We're going to do it one more time. I'm going to watch this time. Ready? Ki at the end. Go! So the main thing you'll need to practice is, some of you are making those moves correctly, but not on the correct one. So like hip goes, then the hand goes. when you're meant to be doing it at the same time. So I would just say it's worthwhile slowing your technique, having a look at what you're doing, and then slowly then build that back up so you understand, oh, now I'm just punching, or now at the same time, or now I'm doing that slingshot. When it's fast, it's more difficult to see, of course, but it's important you know when you're doing the one you should be doing, and you have that understanding of that body mechanics trained into your body. So it just takes a lot of hard work. Knuckle down and train and push yourself, and video it and check it and get people to check you when you're doing this. Okay, quick drink break, and then we're going to do a drill.